welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your host, Daniel.
And Daniel.
And in case you're wondering why it sounds a little different, we're doing this a remote podcast today.
Yeah, you got the plague and I didn't want to deal with it. Not you specifically.
I didn't, because I'm going to defend myself here. I never got it, right? But it has entered the household, and thankfully it only infected one of us. We were able to quarantine accordingly. But, here's the thing. It's better safe than sorry. I like to keep you as not sick as possible, except for mainly just so I don't have to hear about it. I don't really care about your well-being. I'm just saying.
Exactly, because if you get me sick...
I had allergies. No, I had allergies once.
You did not have allergies. Then, you gave me the plague last time.
It has been brought up as many times as much as you hate two-player games. It's the weirdest thing. So, for the sake of preventing an argument, we are going to go with this for now.
Yeah, and then hopefully soon you'll get back to the normal style podcast. I mean, I had our friends Damn It Dom and Gamehead Geek help me with last week's podcast. You're remotely.
Thanks again for those guys for doing so.
I was about ready to go ahead and do this solo just in case, but at least you're able to join us at one way or another.
Yeah. That's right. Well, I think we should just get into it. This is kind of an exciting one of our classic old board game breakdowns.
Yes, it's going to be a good one. It's a smaller company, GrandGamerGuild. I wanted to do this one. They just recently won the most recent Kinderspiel de Jahres with Endeavor Deep Sea. And we wanted to do something that's more independent than some of the stuff that we have been doing lately. They're a North American company, I think. Yeah. Don't quote me on this. I believe they're out of Canada, but they might be just northeastern North America. I'm not exactly sure where they're located. As much as I tried to research, like on their website and stuff like that, they don't have that kind of information out there.
Right, exactly. They're kind of secretive. They're a secret guild of all places, but no. We'd like to highlight indie companies from time to time, and what better time than now? So we're going to break those down. But before we do that, we're going to have some news. As everybody knows, you come to the Everyday Board Games Podcast for your news and board game information. So let's get into that. I have my makeshift coin of doom. Daniel, you ready?
Yep.
All right. And it is heads. I'll start us off. So my first piece of news is we cover mainly board games here, but today I wanted to talk specifically about a crowdfunding campaign that's coming up for an RPG, no less. And this has my interest. It's a new RPG that they're going to crowdsource, I think a Kickstarter, for a game called Tavers. Have you heard of this?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's incredibly intriguing to me. I might actually get into this because of the backstory, the lore behind it. It's not your traditional anything D&D, fantasy, whatever. It's set in the world of Meow Wolf. The actual Meow Wolf concept, which has its own world. It has just like weird, obscure, surrealist ideas.
It's a psychedelic place. Let's just put it that way.
It really is, yeah. I mean, you've got a whole bunch of mishmash of really creative artists putting together an experience unlike anything else. That's really what it is, right? Mm. There's the original one that was in our local capital, Santa Fe. Mm-hmm. And then you have Denver, Las Vegas. There's two in Texas, one in Denver and Dallas, and one in, I want to say, Houston. And
it's either Houston or Austin.
LA and then, yep. Yeah, no, it's not Austin. I know it's Houston, because I almost had the opportunity to go to the one in Dallas, and I looked at the other one, it's Houston. Although Austin would make a lot of sense, honestly. Yeah. But, and they're working on one for LA and New York. So I want to go to all of them now. I just recently went to, 2 weeks ago, or maybe just 1 week ago. I don't remember. I recently went to the one in Denver. And it was such a cool experience that now I'm like, okay, I kind of want to get into this because they built a lot of lore into that one experience. And then the one that we have here in New Mexico is a totally different experience. So it's absolutely worth looking into. I don't know anything other than that, other than it's a Meow Wolf sourced idea for an RPG. So I can only imagine the world is just crazy.
Awesome. No, I've never been to a Meow Wolf. I've been wanting to go to the one up in Santa Fe. We almost went to the one in Denver, but we just had enough time to do a ball game, so we did the Colorado Rockies instead. But it just seems pretty interesting. It's down in that same downtown area as all the other stuff, so.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I was I was at first hesitant because like I knew it was probably gonna be good, but I was like, I wonder if they're just gonna rehash kind of the same thing. Oh no.
No, from what I
Oh
heard, every
no.
single site is different.
And one of the cool things about it, like without like getting into like the lore, that it's called the Convergence Station, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like all of these alien worlds like hit like wormholes or whatever, and they end up like converging on this. It's like a bus terminal, like
Yeah, yeah.
for like these alien worlds. It's so crazy, and they wrote lore for all four of the different alien archetypes that they did. So I bought the books for it. Now I'm going to read those because that's just such a crazy idea, and I'm like, I love absurd stuff like this. It's so cool. So yeah, I'm excited about a book, no less.
Shocking. A fiction at
I
that.
know. Yeah, a fiction one, no less. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Tavers, the Meow Wolf RPG.
All right, so my first bit of news is some Stonemaier news coming out. A couple things here. First off, Universal is now becoming their North American retail distributing location. They got the rights for about $1.5 million, which is kind of interesting on that one because if I remember correctly, Universal is also the Dice Throne distributor now. Now that Dice Throne is doing their own thing outside of Roxley. So that's big news for Universal as well as for Stonemaier. But also, Stonemaier in 2025 produced their biggest revenue of all time at $25.1 million. Based on that release and stuff that they were talking about, this Wingspan, Friendspan, Wormspan, the Span trilogy, as people call it, has sold roughly 3.3 million copies of games. Of course, most of that is being Wingspan and its expansions, which is roughly about 2.6 million on their own.
Right.
But still, 3.3 million games, or 2.6 by itself with Wingspan is just a ridiculous number. That is getting into like Ticket to Ride territory, into not Catan and stuff like that. Not as far as that, but the fact that Wingspan came out in 2019 and they've already sold $2.6 million or 2.6 million units.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then another story that they wrote about on that is Vantage, their most recent game in 2025 outside of Origin Stories, is on its fourth print run right now because they're having a hard time keeping it in stock. It's being very popular, which is good for them because this is a game that not a lot of people have ever done before. And yeah, it is one of those games that either you're really, really going to like it or you're really, really going to dislike it. There's not really a lot of in between. But yeah, it's hitting really well at fourth reprint. That's crazy. Their original print was 65,000 print run. And they're already on the fourth reprint.
Yeah, which is crazy. Even if they rarely do they reprint something at a fewer amount.
Yeah.
Especially if it sells out that quick. So, I mean, that's obscene.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
All right. Next piece of news I had was kind of this massive thing in board game media that kind of shook the foundation of a lot of stuff. In a nutshell, and again, I don't know all of the information other than what I sent to you guys and a little bit of what I read. Watch It Played, which is one of the biggest YouTube channels for learning how to play board games. The owner of it is Rodney Smith, and there was a contributor that he did not name during the videos, but we can name it because we don't have any affiliation. His name is Chaz Marler. He runs another channel that I'm forgetting the name of off the top of my head. But Rodney Smith, after approaching Chaz Marler about this, released a video explaining that it's basically there's scams involved with how YouTube is using its ad feature project and how he's charging it. Basically, the second channel, Chaz Marler's channel, was charging sponsors per view.
Yeah.
And so, like a small amount, But what they were then doing is using the money either from that or prior to that to actually run some of their videos as advertisements. So I never noticed this at first, but I noticed I was getting recommended a lot of the videos, which he has fine content. I mean, it's fine enough, But what I found out about it is that it was running them as ads, and only when people who don't have a paid subscription, because I have YouTube Premium, so I don't see the ads. But if somebody doesn't, they were getting those ads like forced onto just people watching YouTube. Doesn't matter if it was board game content or not. They were watching it. But then after 10 seconds, when they could skip the ad, that still counts as a view according to YouTube. And that information was being charged to the publishers who were sponsoring the videos. This shook up a lot of people. Like a lot of people. And it was this crazy thing. And since then, the second channel, they have gone back and responded. They've given discounts from what I understand, and they're just trying to right the wrong. But it looks like, that bridge is unfortunately burned. And which is crazy because I met both of these people in person. I've personally enjoyed their presence being there. I'm not going to say anything about like their choices as far as what they do and don't do.
Yeah.
All I can really say is, if you're looking for someone to sell your stuff, like, come over here to Everyday Board Games.
Yeah, exactly.
Publishers, we'll charge you virtually nothing, if anything at all.
Just help us.
We don't mind the press.
Just keeping us in the black is all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all we want to do is cover the episode. Whatever, We're not making this crazy thing. We just want fun with it. So, I mean, publishers, send your contact information over to everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. You'll hear that at the end of the episode. But, that's my second piece of news.
Yeah, that was been an interesting... I was waiting for Game Night Picks response to it. They finally...
That's the name.
Yeah, they finally responded to it. And it's information that's out there, but it still kind of feels a little... kind of dirty, kind of to pump up and using the ad revenue to bump up your numbers, but to allow the drop off. Yeah. And he may not have all the information, but it still looks a little bit iffy. No, we don't do anything like that. Like, because honestly, I don't want to pay money for advertisement.
And you can tell by the amount of views we get that we don't have that.
No, we don't have that. On our YouTube. Also, we refuse to cut up the episodes either. We tried that at once, and it just didn't work too well. So it's like, we're just going to leave it as is, and we're going to go from there. Mm-hmm. We're not a YouTube channel. We're a podcast channel, and we're doing pretty good on the podcast side of things. So
that's right.
All right, the next bit of news for me here is... more Asmodee acquisitions, more CMON bad news kind of thing here. Asmodee is looking like they're not going to be stopping with their acquisitions of CMON stuff. Just now picking up, most recently, Sheriff of Nottingham from CMON, who had just recently picked this up from Arcane Wonders. So that's a big thing that they sold. They did mention that they're possibly going to be selling more properties, especially now that they're starting to show profit or profitability, especially with their most recent shares sell for CMON. So Asmodee going into those, it's kind of the same thing that Cowboy or not Raccoon Tycoon, what is it, Something Tycoon, where they're just now starting just to buy evergreen style of games, the stuff that are constantly going to sell. Sheriff of Nottingham being the most recent one. But they're also close to reopening the Cthulhu Death May Die Pledge Manager, so more people can get more into that stuff. If you don't have the giant Cthulhu yet, you can finally pick it up. And then, like I said, they mentioned that they're not done on that aspect of it. So, Asmodee, back to their old ways.
Yep, back to their old ways. Next one, speaking of Asmodee, one of their biggest titles and one of their biggest brands is Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be on your news.
Oh, this is my kind of information. They just got signed with a deal through Netflix. This is now the second board game thing that Netflix has signed, the first being Catan, that they have exclusive rights that if they want to make a film or a series, I believe it's also a series as well, that they have the rights to do so for Ticket to Ride. Now, Catan has its own world. I mean, there's a lot of trading. Sure, I can see that. However, Ticket to Ride, I don't really know what they... maybe...
Which map are they using? They're going to use the American map? Or are they going to use the Europe map?
They're using the Markland one. It's a German crossover. And
you know what I find interesting about this news is people are saying, you know what? If Netflix want to do it, maybe they can get into a reality TV show style and make it like an Amazing Race kind of thing with trains.
Ooh, can you imagine?
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting if it was anywhere but the U.S.
Yeah, no, especially with people having to figure out how to navigate the European train system in foreign languages, or even the Japanese bullet trains.
Exactly. If they did a crossover with Jet Lag, that's like a YouTube crew that basically does like across the countries or tag across like continents, whatever.
Yep.
If they did a crossover with that, oh man, I'd be 100% in.
Yeah, that'd be some crazy news. And the fact that, well, Asmodee, mentioning Asmodee, not only did they give the Ticket to Ride deal, they're the ones that also own Catan, so they have that deal too.
Yep, exactly.
So now they're getting
So
into
we'll
the
see.
movie business.
Why not? Hey, I actually had one of our customers today, not today, but this weekend at the shop, who came in and was looking for a copy of Talisman because it was played on board on Big Bang Theory. And they were like, "We're also looking for the other one. I know they played Ticket to Ride." I was like, "Oh, did you see how they actually hid Dominion in one of the cabinets?" And they're like, "Wait, what?" Oh, yeah, there's one.
Dominion's all over the place in that show.
Yeah, exactly. Rio Grande Games really pushed that, that advertising. I think Arctic Scavengers was in one of the episodes or something. Yeah, hilarious stuff.
All right, in my next bit of news, kind of sad news, but sort of not. I understand why this happened. Ryan Darcy has lost his position as the COO, the Chief Operating Officer at AEG, for his stance on AI. And this was, and I quote, this is what he says: "I have zero reason to believe that an AI couldn't come up with Tiny Towns or Flip 7 or Cubitos. I can prompt any of several AIs right now and get games as good as these." AEG quickly responded and distanced themselves and said they have separated with Ryan Darcy. You and me have had a long discussion about AI as well. And this is where... Oh, and I forgot to change the chat thing. That's what's going on here. But the big thing here is you and me have a stance. We have no issue with AI if you're using it as a tool, but if you're using it as a creative tool or using it for creative purposes, then we have issues. If you're using it as saying somehow to help your spelling be better or wording your using it almost like a thesaurus to help you come up with better context of how you want to say something, yeah, fine, you can use it as a cleanup tool. But other than that, this one is, I don't blame AEG at all.
Yeah, at no point should it ever be generative.
There we go. That's the word I couldn't look up for.
When it becomes a generative AI topic, that's when it's absolutely off the line. And, and I appreciate the fact that a lot of, different people in the industry, I'm sure that was a topic at the Gamma Trade Show this last weekend. But still, there's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions about it. We're going to stay silent about that for now.
Yeah, but...
My last piece of news.
Go ahead.
Speaking of the Gamma Trade Show, or the Gamma Expo. Sorry, it's been a while since we've been there. Cut me some slack, right? No, the Gamma Expo was just this last weekend. Next time we do the news, I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot more of the announcements and different things that came out from there. But there is one piece of news that I saw that I definitely want to talk about. Level 99 briefly talked about The Bride of Spooktacular, their sequel.
Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah, that was popular enough that they are going to make a sequel to Spooktacular, which you and I already know how much we like Spooktacular. We already know. If you're listening to the podcast, you've seen our reviews.
We had a little bit of information about it, too, because we're friends with Level 99, but we couldn't talk about it.
We couldn't say anything about it, but it's finally out in the open, and we can talk about it. Sequel, that's all we need to know. Doesn't matter. We're in.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Shut up, take my money. Here's the coin of doom. It's worth 25 cents. It's worth it. We're in.
Yeah, no, I'm highly excited for it. I love Spooktacular. In fact, it's probably my favorite Level 99 game right now, even though I really do like Bullet a lot. I just love how this works and how asymmetrical it is and really works well.
Yeah, it really works well. It's impressive how well it works.
All right.
So there you go.
And my last bit of news here is Mosaic Studios has been announced as a new company that's coming up. The big one here, it is founded by Tomas Provas, who is also the co-founder of Repos Productions and Playpunk, which are French design companies, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
No games have been announced whatsoever just yet, but they have announced that they are with certain designers, Matthew Verdeau, who is known for In the Footsteps of Darwin, as well as Renault Sierro, who is the designer of Ant. So they have some big name designers here, or Ants, I think is what it's called. But let's see what happens here. Looks kind of interesting. I like when new companies are coming up, especially with all the companies that have been going down lately. So it intrigues me quite a bit.
Awesome. All right, so now we're going to get into today's episode. As we said at the top of it, Grand Gamers Guild. We are going to be breaking down their gameography of games. So, and we'll probably like email them the list of this like when it goes live, just so that way they know, and maybe they can give us a little bit of promotion. So what I mean, like when we talked at the top of the episode here. But we're going to break down all their games that they released, and as always, we skip like sequels, stuff that's too similar, and like promos, all that stuff. We're trying to talk about base games. So, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be terribly long, so we'll see about that. Although I'm not super familiar with a lot of games from Grand Gamers Guild. Are you, Daniel?
Not particularly. There's a few that I know. A lot of their newer stuff I'm more familiar with because I'm more engaged with those games. I think from like 2023 or so on is where I'm really started playing some of their games. You can kind of see that a couple of them right here in the bottom corner that they're tied to. The only one I didn't pull up was Inferno, because that's technically not their game. They just brought it over to the States.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm familiar with like the escape room ones, the mini holiday hijinks, and they've done a few others, which I'll be explaining as that comes in.
Yeah. You ready to get going?
Let's do it.
Who goes first?
I'll flip the coin of doom. Let's find out. You'll be starting us, Daniel.
All right, the first game on our list here is Myths War. Don't know anything about this game. This is one of the oldest games here. It's from 2013. And this is categorized as... First published as Guerra de Mitos, so War of Myths, is a card game set in the fantastic world where different mythologies coexist. It is a different dynamic game designed to be able to build different decks with distinct and varied strategies, and each expansion increases both the number of available mythologies and the game's possibilities. Each player in MythWards need to build his own deck of at least 51 cards, 1 pantheon, 20 gods, and 30 designs of his choice, and each expansion increases the diversity of characters, actions, and strategies you can use in order to achieve victory, but all expansions can be played on their own. Each player has to bring into play cards his oracles offer him and play actions from design decks, both in Influence, where the gods plan from their pantheon, and the Confrontation phase, where the characters who decide to go to battle decrease the opponent's power to obtain supremacy or consign or opponent to oblivion. This sounds like Russia Vicar almost.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it honestly sounds like a culmination of any kind of like, trading
CCG
card game or CCG-esque games. There's a lot of things that could come of it, but it does appear to have that style.
Yeah, and I'm looking at some of the arts right now, and it literally looks a lot like any CCG that you've ever seen before.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Next game on our list here is Unreal Estate.
So Unreal Estate, it says that it is the Thieves Guild or Elven Treehouse, Magic Shop, or Dwarven Tavern. Build your fantasy cityscape by matching houses and racking up the points before your opponents have a chance to score. It's a game of drafting, hand management, and timing. Pick your fantasy building from the proposal board. Keep an eye on what other players select. With a rotating start player, make sure you score your set against the scrap pile before your opponents can. So it looks like as soon as you are wanting to score, you need to make sure that you do so before they mess it up, which is kind of interesting. It's open drafting, set collection, take that, and then the turn order is different. I like the art style, honestly.
Yeah, the art style looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it looks cool. The sets of the cards look fun. What artist is this? Let's take a look. This is Corrine Roberts. Okay, I'm not familiar with that, but I actually really dig the way that looks.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice. All right, the third game on our list here is known as Stroop, a game of perception and perplexion. The thinkiest filler you'll ever play. Stroop will inflame your brain. Artist on this one is Josh Capel. If you guys are familiar with that, he's the person that pretty much runs Kid Table Board Game, if I remember correctly. Stroop is a real-time observation game based on the psychological Stroop effect, which is a phenomenon caused by different functions of the brain interfering with one another. The cards in Stroop each display a single word. The words are printed in several colors: black, red, blue, and yellow, sizes big and little, styles hollow and solid, and have different number of letters, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The challenge is to read one word quickly, match it with a description of another word, without regard to what the second word says. In the first round of the game, players are dealt an equal number of cards, and a card is turned face up in the center of the table, forming the base of a pile. Players then race to find a card in their deck that center card describes, and place this on top of the pile, changing the center card. Play continues until one player runs out of cards. The second round is the game is similar to the first, except that the rule for eligible cards to play is reversed. Now a card may be played only if its text describes the qualities of the card in the center. The players with the fewer cards remaining wins. It kind of reminds me of another game that you showed me at the Gamma Expo a few years back when it was still in Reno, and I think it's like Cool Words or something like that, where you're rolling dice instead, and you're trying to come up with different words, but you're also trying to spell stuff with the dice.
Yeah, like Stay Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like a real-time chaos one. This one seems a little less
chaos, but I mean...
Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the next one we have up here is Pocket Ops. Pocket Ops is a two-player game of deduction and area control, as rival spy masters position your agents to outmaneuver your opponent and dominate the battlefield. This is a tic-tac-toe game with deduction. It is a tic-tac-toe-esque game, again, with deduction. Clever use of your agents, like the assassin, sniper, pusher, grappler, or hacker, give you different abilities, snatch victory away from your opponent. It's intriguing, to say the least.
Yeah.
Pocket Ops. Okay. Is this something you would play?
Maybe. I honestly don't know. It sounds interesting. Huh?
Yeah. I'm looking at the images. I mean, it looks like a tic-tac-toe with special abilities, which is kind of cool.
It's kind of neat, yeah. I mean, I would try it. It's two of the things I don't like, apparently. Two-player games and abstract strategy.
That's true. But the artist is Josh Capel, so that's always a good sign.
All right, the next one here, I believe, is a co-design, just like another one we'll talk about a little bit later, is Endeavor Age of Sail. This is with Burnt Island Games as well as GrandGamerGuild. This is the predecessor to the one that we were talking about at the top of the podcast, Endeavor Deep Sea. But it is an exploration, nautical, and Renaissance theme on there. The Endeavor Age of Sails, players strive to earn glory for their empires. Sailing out from Europe in the Mediterranean, players will establish shipping routes and occupy cities the world over. As they do so, players will leverage their growing industry, culture, finance, and influence, building their engine, extending their reach into the far-flung regions of the world. This second edition, you get a double-sided board and stuff like that, so it just kind of tells you that. But yeah, I do own this one. I picked it up on one of our most recent Bookman's runs. It's still sitting on my pile of shame just because I haven't tried it. It is somewhat different than Endeavor Deep Sea. The big reason they went to Deep Sea is they wanted to get more into the exploration side as well and get away from the colonization era of humanity, and that's why that came about, because this one is all about the colonization of things.
Oh, that's cool.
But it looks cool. The pieces and components look great.
I really want to try it.
Which one?
Honestly.
The Deep Sea one or this one?
Deep Sea. Well, both. I like both nautical and deep sea. Like, I love the themes both. Yeah, I would try any of them. All you gotta do is bring it out on one of your picks, and I'm into playing.
I'm down. I've been thinking about it, too, because I'm like, I still don't know what I want to do for my next pick, so.
Right. I think it's coming up pretty recently, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
What, my next pick?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, after this week, if you show up, because it's your pick this week.
I'll see what I can do. Shikoku is the smallest of 4 islands of Japan. By the way, this is the next game on our list. Famous for its 88 Buddhist temples pilgrimage. It is said that people have a year of misfortune and woes at the age of 42 for men and 33 for women. So to be cured and avoid bad luck, pilgrims of those ages attend the Temple 23 called, I'm not even going to try that. That's not what it's called. I'm just not going to attempt to pronounce it. And place of the Buddha Temple of Healing. In every step, pilgrims leave a coin while singing the Yakushi mantra, which favors them for spiritual healing and prevents misfortunes. So your goal is to go up to 33 steps while singing the mantras until you reach the pagoda. This looks like a card game specifically, open drafting, based in Japan. It looks like it has lovely art on it. I'm flipping through some of the cards right now. I like the steps. They actually look good on the board.
Yeah.
The meeples are fine, but the cards, I like the graphic design on it. It's pretty neat looking.
Yeah, it's pretty neat looking, especially when you think about it. This was, 2018? So this is when games started really upping their look and art style and stuff like that, so.
Yep, exactly. No, this is a game that I would be interested in playing.
All right, the next game on our list here is not something that has any rankings and stuff like. There's no image for it or anything, but it is tied to them. It's called Lost Vegas. It says 2019. I don't think it's ever been released, though. And apparently there are many things buried in the sands of the new Old West just waiting to be discovered and claimed. You seek to dig up the desert has reclaimed. You can move from location to location, collecting money and valuable artifacts. So it's almost like set collection. It says it also got open drafting, but I have not seen anything about this game. There is even no photo. So I don't know if it's coming out in the future or they just kind of let it go.
One person owns it.
Probably the designer.
Probably the designer. I bet you're right. Daryl Andrews is one of the designers. Interesting.
So, yeah.
All right. The next one is Artemis Project, which has over 4.3 thousand people who own it, so that's pretty significant. Build a base on Europa by fighting for limited resources and avoiding lethal exposure. So, this looks like another epic big one. So, Europa, Jupiter's moon, deep beneath the crust, the oceans are teeming with alien sea life, shellfish, plants, corals, arthropods, even strange fish and larger sea creatures populate a wide range of interconnected web of hidden seas. Volcanism is rampant, warming the mineral-rich waters and creating excellent conditions for energy harvesting. So, yeah, this looks intriguing, right?
Yeah.
You're basically mining out the different levels of Europa, which, people have speculated that there's likely life or at least microorganisms that live underneath the ice sheet.
Mm-hmm.
That is possible. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, out of all of the different celestial bodies in our galaxy, this is number 2 as likelihood of having living creatures.
Some form of life form.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Artemis Project looks pretty interesting.
All right, the next game on the list. If we find it, yeah. The next game on our list here is one that I do own, have played, and actually really do enjoy a lot of. And this is Endangered, a game of survival. This is actually one of the first games that I've ever played from Grand Gamer Guild. And this is artist Ben Flores and Best Sobel. So, I'm always down for Best Sobel art.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it is a cooperative game. Depending on which scenario you're playing, it's always cooperative, but there is different rules for different scenarios that you're playing. The basic one, I believe, is saving the tigers and saving the elephants, I remember correctly. And then there's another side where you're dealing, I believe, with the turtles, or that turtles might be an expansion. And there's plenty of expansions for this game. But it is a cooperative dice worker placement game where you're trying to go to different locations using your dice to trigger your special abilities and working as a group to either save the tigers before either deforestation happens way too much or pollutions for the water side of things. I think the base water side is otters, if I remember correctly. And so you're also trying to get funding from different governments and trying to meet a certain amount of contracts based on and get the votes to be environmentally friendly. It does go a little long. It's not super horrible about its length, but the more people that play it, the longer the game is going to get. It's just that is one of the problems with co-op games. So you see you have a grid here, and so with the grids, that is where different animals get seeded or corruption may happen because you're going to flip cards that are going to give you some bad stuff. You got to try to get your tigers together in a certain way for different animals to breed. This way they get saved. I like a lot of this, and you're also getting cards out of your hand into the table to give yourself new worker placement spots because you only have the first set of worker placement spots right here. These are the only ones on the board, and you're trying to add more based on cards that are in your hand. And I do enjoy a lot of what this does. I love the asymmetrical powers that work for who you're trying to be. Like there's a TV host or kind of think Steve Irwin style aspect. There is like a politician or a politician lobbyist or something like that. So you're trying to gland hand the politicians. And so, yeah, I think this is a fantastic game. I love the different scenarios that are in it. I love the cover of that thing with the big giant tiger face. I think it works. My only issue with that is if they lowered the name of the title Endangered down, it would make it look a lot better instead of having it right across the face of the tiger.
Right. I don't disagree with that. It was a choice.
Yeah.
It was a choice.
But I do enjoy this game. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I love a good dice worker placement game.
Yeah. Cool. All right. The next one we have up is Chiseled. Chiseled is 3 critics, 1 set of tools, no excuses. It is a deck building game about sculpting marble. You play as artists in a shared studio working to complete sculptures. By the time any player has checked in with the 3 critics enough times to get ranked, using 1 tool at a time from the shared workbench, remove the accentuated cards from your starting deck of cards to improve its artistic value. And please the critics for bonuses. Each tool offers a unique method for interacting with the marble. This looks intriguing, but I don't like the way this looks.
Yeah,
it looks like everything I should like, but I don't like the way it looks.
My issue with the art style of this one is I know what they're trying to make it look like marble, but it just looks like poorly drawn 1990s 3D graphics on the old style computer system, like MS-DOS or whatever.
Yep. Because like a lot of the cards have like the different areas, like body parts and stuff like that. But then they just have like a marble like background over all of it. I don't know. I don't love it.
This kind of reminds me, the look of the art style on these cards reminds me of when someone's on GameFound and they give you the 3D rendering of the minis that they're going to put in the game. That's what those models look like.
Yep. That's cool. Yeah, and a lot of people, like I'm looking at the comments here, it looks like it's fairly popular. A lot of people are saying it's pretty unique, but then we have like a few people are like, I don't think I'd ever play it again.
It looks unique. It looks like something I would try. I'm not going to go out of my way to try to find the game, but if someone has it, hey, you want to try this? Yeah, sure. I like deck building games. So
of course.
And how this works is that you're trying to chisel the marble to build the statue, and that sounds interesting.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, next game on our list here is one of your favorites that you enjoy because it's one of the escape room games in the box. This is Holiday Hijinks. The first one I pulled up is just the first one, the Kringle Caper. But they've done several holidays. I think they're at, 10, 15, something like that?
Their first run was 8. Yeah. And they've released, I think, another 4 or 5 more.
Yeah, and so this one is just a little, 18 cards, something like that, escape room kind
18 cards.
Escape room kind of in a box kind of thing that you play around the holiday time. It looks intriguing. I still haven't played mine because I just haven't been around to get the Independence Day one doing, but my goal is to play it this year on Independence Day. It looks really interesting. I love the art style on it. I'll let you go ahead and talk about it more because you know it way more than everybody else.
Right. The first 8, I played all 8 of them. I co-own an escape room business. Listeners of the podcast know this. So me and my cohort, we both played these. These are the best bang for your buck escape rooms I've ever played. Yeah, there's the Independent Incident. They're all like alliteration. The Kringle Caper, the Halloween, whatever. And they do so much with so many different things that it's incredible. Like, a lot of escape rooms, like mobile escape rooms like this, are consumable. This one is not. Once you're done with it, you can give it to somebody else. You can continue to reuse them. They use a website for a lot of this, and a lot of the levels there'll be sometimes where you need to get a key term, and you need to type it in the website, which will tell you to draw certain cards. So that's how they handle, the answer response system. But what makes it really cool is that multiple cards get used in multiple different ways on different puzzles that you need to call back to sometimes. And there will be times where there may be instances of something that people might not know, like Braille or ciphers or whatever, and something like this. And the website does have a tool where you can look at those. So if you're trying to like figure out Braille of some kind, and you find something that you're like, oh wait, maybe this is Braille, it gives you that information instead of you having to Google it yourself. But one of the coolest things about this is that it has a backlog of everything you've done. And so as you're playing it, if you get a clue on this part, you're like, oh, well, I was supposed to take, card 5, whatever. You can go back and double check that. You're like, oh, wait, why don't we have this? Oh, we missed that part. We got to take card 5. And not everything has that. This is a clever system. It is one of the most unique ones, and they don't repeat puzzles. That is so difficult. There's a lot of times in these mobile escape rooms where like people just don't come up with a good enough idea. From what I understand, Jonathan Schaefer, or Chaffer, is the designer of this and all of them, and I am increasingly impressed with what he's done.
Cool. No, it looks good. Like I said, I've been wanting to play it. I just haven't had the time to get the one that I do have played. Just holidays don't really. I'm usually busy doing other stuff on holidays, so it's one of those things.
All right. But since I went on that long rant, do you want to take the next one?
Sure. The next game here, we have La Familia Hort. 4 eccentric farmers complete to inherit the ghost grandmother's land. La Familia Hort is a family weight game that you need to take care of the grandma's farm. Granny Hortensia, owner of the lands of an eccentric farmer's family, dies one day without leaving a will. One night the moon turns reddish and the grandmother reappears as a ghost to put her 4 grandchildren to the test. She will visit them 3 times, always coinciding with the red moon. After her 3 appearances, whoever has become the most experienced farmer will inherit the land. Money, water, and fertilizer management is the key to winning this game. Your goal being to have the most experience points after she visits the 3rd time. The game is played over played in rounds with 5 steps each. First, you get the market, which is crop, utensil, animal tiles are drawn from a pile of the indicated type. Purchase, each player can successfully buy 1 tile from the market. Fertilizer, each player receives a fertilizer counter from the bank to place on their own crops on the rival's crops, depending on which round they are in. Watering, players place 1 water count per crop or animal. Available water varies depending on the weather, which is kind of interesting. Makes sense. And sell. Products are sold in exchange for coins and experience points. Crops that have been completely watered must be sold. The fertilizer is used to get the highest sales value in this step. The games go through rounds until the 3rd red moon card appears, and consequently, Grandma Hortensia makes her final visit. It looks interesting. I've heard some decent things about this from another podcast, our friends over at Tabletop Bellhop. It looks intriguing. It's kind of reminds me of an essence like Stardew Valley, because your grandfather visits you as a ghost in that game. So I wonder if that was kind of I forget what the word I'm looking for here, but like an idea to them is like, oh, I could do this into a board game form.
Yeah. No, I mean, it honestly looks intriguing. I love the theming on it. That's awesome.
I love the art style, too.
Yeah, the art style. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That's my kind. That's cool. I would consider buying it.
All right, the next game on our list is your style of game.
So I've had the opportunity to get this. I haven't yet, but it is an abstract. It's in the top 100 abstracts of all time. Garinto. This one, in Garinto, the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, wind, and void, call to you with their distinct energy and patterns. Earth burrows steadily, water spreads and adapts, fire leaps upward, wind dances unpredictably, and void weaves subtly through the spaces in between, which is kind of a cool thing. Mastering each one is key to unlocking your true balance. Inspired by the traditional Japanese ancient game Garinto, a sacred pagoda built from 5 symbolic shapes representing the elements. This game is more of a contest of points. It is a journey towards understanding, instead of being a contest for points. Sorry. Players take turns choosing element tiles from a path and placing them into their mountain, building the influence and the knowledge for the clever selection and strategic foresight. So this is intriguing. There's much more of the description, but I'm not going to read that. It is it's a Japanese-esque theme game. The components look beautiful. The pieces are just awesome, and it's a cool thing. I remember seeing this at like the store because this was at Barnes for a while, and
Yeah.
I always just kind of passed it off. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I look at the back every once in a while, I was like, oh, it's an elemental game. Okay, whatever. But now having read that description, I'm more intrigued now.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's like right up your style of game too.
Oh
So,
yeah, absolutely cool.
all right, the next
Corinto.
game on our list here is Roll Camera, the filmmaking board game.
Yep.
Roll Camera is you are a movie producer in a failing film production company. You have one last chance to make a successful film, otherwise the company will collapse and you'll never work in this town again. Roll Camera is a cooperative or solo dice worker placement game of resource management in a central geometric puzzle representing your shooting arrangement. You throw the custom D6 crew dice, each face representing a different production department: camera, light, sound, actor, production design, visual effects, and assign them actions either on the main board or an individual player board. Your player board features a specific head of department, director, producer, cinematographer, editor, that contains unique action spaces that can be used on your turn. Everybody knows how films are made. Place the crew in specific arrangements, matching those on the shop cards, resolving the constant problems getting in your way, and holding production meetings to play ideas card from your hand to help out. Everything costs time and money, and you lose either one runs out. You must ensure your film reaches a certain level of quality in order to win. At the game ends, you need to have a unique sequence of completed shot cards with each card can premiere using the story cues. It's the filmmaker game that results in a real movie.
So, one of our mutual friends, Gamehead Geek, ended up getting rid of his copy, or maybe it might have been Damn It Doll. They got rid of their copy, and I took it from them. I traded them for it. I really like this game. I really like this. This is really a fun game.
So you have finally played it then?
I have played it. The only bad thing about it, and there is one bad part about it, that it definitely outstays its welcome. Like if you're not expecting a 3-hour game, then it's much longer than it seems, because the cover makes it look like it's an hour long. It's really not. It's like a 3-hour long game. But if you go into that knowing it, it's a fantastic time.
I'm not a fan of the art style all that much, but it looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I don't mind it, but it's actually really hilarious. Like a lot of the cards have scenes with the different actors doing like different roles. It's really has some great humor in it. It's absurd, like you'd expect.
I know this is probably well supported from them too, because I saw a lot of expansions when we were setting all this up too.
Yep, exactly.
All right, next one.
So, next one is the Belgian beer race. I've not heard of this one before, but I'm curious about it. Have a crazy race through Belgium and its breweries. Visit as many breweries as you can, buy their beers, and drink with moderation. Through a 3-day competition, optimize your trips across the country, travel by bike or by public transport or hitchhiking. Meet your opponents and drink with them, but watch your blood alcohol level, hangovers, and their obstacles await you. This is actually a thing that they do in Belgium that I've heard about, which is just such a bad idea, but a fun idea for a board game.
Yeah. My only issue from what I'm seeing on here is this is by far one of the busiest boards I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly.
It's not the fact that it's ugly. It is. It's not great looking, but it's so busy I can't even read half the stuff on the board.
Oh, I know. It's icon heavy, and the fact that they made all of the roads like solid straight lines, no curves at all. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love the cover either, but it is a cool premise.
All right, next game on our list here is Mytholix. Control gods, upgrade them with mythological figures, and power your way to victory. Mytholix is a strategy game that will put you into critical thinking to test. The object of the game is to battle one another and attempt to collect 4 elements. To win an element, you either need to defeat a player for an element or an elemental altar. Before the game begins, all players receive a god to command. Each god comes with their own unique power and abilities. The games work by tactically choosing a path on the map and rolling a dice to attack and attempt to evolve into a powerful deity. You are starting your turn by collecting their bounty on captured gold, power, and mythical mines. Players can build strongholds, battle enemies, or receive bounty from specific hexagons on the board. You're also trying to control areas of land that will give you bonuses and help you purchase army and warrior cards that will permanently increase the power of the player's god. Throughout the game, you can tactically forge your path to victory. However, it takes too long to choose the wrong path around the map. You give your opponents the chance to become empowered, and so the balance of the game can quickly shift. And I believe this is, what, a 2-player game? Yeah, 2 to 4. It sounds more interesting than the last Myth game that we heard from them earlier, so...
It does. It does. I don't know. I'd consider it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Are those acrylic standees? I can't really tell. Yeah, they are.
It's hard to tell on mine. Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Cool.
Looks cool. I would try it out. It's not a problem there.
Yep. I would as well. Now, this one is very specific. Forgotten Depths. A light dungeon crawling adventure with unique puzzle mechanisms. It is a 1 to 3 cooperative dungeon adventure game that combines unique tile laying and hand management mechanics to deliver a substantive experience and of exploration and combat. At the bottom of the dungeon, destroy the powerful entity that resides there. Standard, crawling into a dungeon, maybe dealing with a dragon kind of thing, you know. Something that we've heard before. This is also a Kickstarter game. I'm looking through the art here. I mean, pretty standard looking cards.
Yeah.
Not sure about how the mechanisms. I wasn't sold on that. But tile laying, I mean...
Yeah, you're always down for that.
I'm always down for a tile laying game, although these don't totally sell me on it. But it looks pretty cool.
This looks prototypey for what you're seeing on Board Game Geek, so... Who knows what the final look is going to be. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't really looked at it too much.
Exactly.
All right, next game on our list here is Aldabas, Doors of Cartagena. In Cartagena, Colombia, the doors speak, not with words, but with grandiose knockers that adorn them. In Spanish colonial times, the knockers announced your job and your social status with the design and details. Lions, lizards, sea creatures, and hands proclaim the home's occupant as soldiers, nobles, fishermen, and clergy. Aldabas is a puzzly tableau builder in which you seek to fill your neighborhood with the most influential citizens. On each turn, players will take actions to build their neighborhood or increase their wealth. Clever placement will unlock bonuses, but only if you build in the right way. Those who kept the best company and the fullest coffers will surely be held in the highest regard. Now, this one intrigues me a lot more than that dungeon crawling one. You're basically tableau building, which is what I enjoy the most of. The art design looks pretty cool. How to do these different things and how to build them in your grid. It looks interesting. I've never heard of this game.
No, neither have I. I want to say I've seen the cover before, but I can't pinpoint it.
The cover looks like Castles of Tuscany's cover.
Yeah, but not
as colorful, but
colorful. Yeah. All right, next one we have is a game called Patriot, which I don't know about this. Let's see here. I was reading a little bit about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have asked each of you into this room for a purpose. It is with grave urgency and top secrecy that I request your time, your assistance, and your loyalty. I ask that you save our nation, in turn save my life. The President. On the brink of civil war, the President of Carmonia has been given 5 letters from an assassin, each marked with a day. It has been made clear that if the President does not meet each of the assassin's demands, there will be dire consequences resulting in the death of the President. 5 letters, 5 threats, 5 ways to die. It's a cooperative, semi-cooperative, social deduction, area control game with a possible hidden traitor.
I don't like those words being combined.
I don't like the area movement part of it. I'm okay with everything else. I don't like the area movement or area control. I guess it's not area control.
I don't mind the hidden traitor part of it. I don't like the social deduction part of it.
Yeah. So this is probably not one. Yeah, because it does say that if you are the assassin, your job is to sabotage everybody else. So there you go.
The cover though is striking.
It is. It really is.
All right, the next game here, and I am sorry for this pronunciation, Ahau, Rulers of the Yucatan. In a Euro-style board game combining elements of worker placement and resource management and with innovative dual engine building, all set in the classic period of the Maya. A lot of that really intrigues me, especially the Mayan aspect of the things, because I might be going to see some Mayan ruins here later this year. The players take the role of leaders of the city-states who are all eager to climb the ladder of power and become the most famous rulers of this era. Throughout their journey, they have the chance to invoke the Mayan deities, made the production flourish, build the pyramid temple and capital, and expand the borders of their territory. The Aho is a homage to the breathtaking Maya culture, bringing their history closer to the players. The cultural and historical aspects of the game were closely checked by Mayanist David S. Anderson, professor of anthropology and archaeology, and an instructor of Radford University in Virginia.
Okay.
This looks really cool.
It does.
I like the pyramids on this one.
Yeah, those are cool.
It looks interesting. I don't know. I don't know anything about this one. This one intrigues me somewhat just because it hit a lot of the things that I do enjoy, especially historical concepts. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, I mean, if you listen very carefully, you heard me on, and I apologize, not because of the game, but...
Yeah, he did. He's like, history.
Kind of because of the game. No, I mean, it's fine. All right, the next one, I believe, is the Artemis Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
This is explore the galaxy, manage resource, build starships, and wield mighty alien tech. Bruno Faiduti and Serge Leger. This is a remake of Ad Astra, and that's a bit of an older game, but a remake of it now. Begins many generations after the events of the Artemis Project, using alien relics found deep in the oceans and frozen moon Europa. As a technological springboard, humankind has become quickly capable of reaching out to the distant stars and the mysterious orbiting planets. This is one thing I've found out about games like this, is that if you're able to travel anywhere in the world, you can pretty much just do anything you want. Or in the universe, right? Star Trek did this. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to go back in time to a world that's... come on now. It's writing up interesting stuff. So your goal is accomplished through a clever system of hidden planning and a shared board. It looks cool.
It looks interesting. I've never played Ad Astra, so I don't know.
No, neither have I. Ad Astra doesn't look like something that intrigues me just because of the cover alone.
And they put it in the Artemis Project world, so...
Yes, exactly. I mean, I like the trays. The trays are cool.
Yeah.
They're really nice and colorful. Pieces look great. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on it.
I'm not sold on it either. And I like sci-fi stuff. The next game here is a new version of the Belgian beer race. This is the dice game, or as they call it here, the Belgian Beers Race Dice. That rolls off the tongue. I will say the cover's a lot better from the original one.
Yeah.
And so in this one, you embark on a wild and unforgettable race across Belgium where breweries are your checkpoints and beer is your fuel. The 3 auxiliary days you cruise across the country, visiting as many breweries as you can. The goal, savor the finest brews, collect bottles, and chart your way to victory, all while keeping your wits about you. But beware, every beer you enjoy brings you closer to the dreaded hangover, so forth. Kind of like the other one. But in this one, throughout the race, goals will pop up like challenges on your beer food adventures. Some are immediate, visit a legendary brewery, sip on a rare beer, or complete daring task. It doesn't really tell you what's the difference between this one other than it's got dice in it now.
Yeah, it's essentially the dicey version.
Yeah, the board is nowhere near as busy. That's what's crazy.
Yes.
That is much more legible. It's not still a great looking board, but it's much more legible.
Yeah. Fewer really hard lines. I mean, they still have the hard lines, but not random angles in it.
All right, next one.
Next one, Pass, the ladder climbing game in which each card has a potentially upgradable or upgraded side with another value. Players may pass their turn to take a pass token and use it on the later round to turn a card to its upgraded side. So dual use, kind of ladder climbing, kind of cool. Gosh, I hate the art on this.
They look like they almost made it like a standard deck of cards, but then you get closer look and it's like numbers that are not in cards.
Yep.
Oh man, this really hurts my eyes.
Yeah, I hate the way it looks. I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but I don't.
And I
I
love ladder
think
climbing games. This is just
yes, it hurts.
it
It
hurts.
hurts.
All right, moving on. This way my eyes can rest.
Yep, yep.
The
I
next
clicked away
game
pretty
on our
fast.
list is The Fog: Escape from Paradise, which we're in the 2024 now, so we're within the last couple years. Another one I
Yep.
don't know much about.
No.
In The Fog, you are a mystical guardian of an isolated island who must help panicked islanders reach their boats and escape a rapidly approaching, life-threatening fog. So, Stephen King's The Mist. Doing
Yep.
so will require guiding and coordinating islanders' path towards their boats. Each turn, you use point allocation to run, swap, push, squeeze, cross, and jump your self-drafted islanders towards escape and survival. This sounds like a more complicated version of Survive.
Yep. Kind of cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd play it. It looks like something I'd play.
Yeah, it looks interesting, and the fact that you're drafting the survivors too. Art style looks okay. I like the little like poker chip esque aspect of it, but
Yeah. I mean, the
yeah, he's
pieces
already
look
bored.
solid. Yeah, that's okay. No, I'd play that one. I can't say I'd stay awake during it, but I'd play. All right, next one is Words of a Feather. Words of a Feather is a party game with a unique focus on presentation and table presence. Players reveal words from the general supply and add their own words to the mix. All players try to write down matching words based on the clues provided. Players can bet their points if they are feeling confident about a match. So it's a word game that they added a really over-the-top production to.
I mean, it's a cool looking production, but then just looking at one of the pictures I have pulled up right now, it's kind of you get lost. I can't tell what they're trying
Yep,
to say right here in these bottom the scoring areas. So
yep. As the person who is normally designated to shuffle cards, those cards would be obnoxious to shuffle.
that's
I
what
could do it.
that's what
I
happens
would
when you're
hate
the
it.
magician.
Yep, I guess so. But I mean, overall, it looks pretty cool though.
It looks cool. I would not mind trying it. The way it peacocks out looks really cool. But
Yeah,
man, it would hurt my eyes if like the picture is hurting my eyes. I don't know how it would be on an actual table.
right. A bit busy, but cool looking.
All right, the next game on the list here is Ovation. Uh, Become one of the greatest classical composers of all time. You'll use inspiration, seek fortune, and hobnob with the aristocrats to perform musical masterpieces and achieve your legacy in this engine building game. Each turn, players choose one of the four actions: seek inspiration, seek fortune, seek patronage, or perform. Inspiration is your primary resource and it comes in three tones: joy, passion, and sorrow. Seeking inspiration allows you to gain your resources, while all other of your actions will have players spend inspiration to acquire cards. You need to complete specific goals to gain Maestro cards, and in the game, the players with the most points wins. Uh, this is an intriguing theme. I like the fact that it's like Mozart
Yep,
era kind of thing. We've seen
yep.
other companies like Paverson do like
Hmm.
Luthier. This looks like a
Uh-huh.
simpler of that style.
Yeah. I was intrigued. I barely found out about this game maybe a couple months ago, but I am intrigued by it. I definitely want to try it. And from what I can tell, it's like some really cool engine building going on. This is what I want to try.
Yeah, same. It looks
All right.
interesting. If we can find it, I would more than willing play it.
All right, cool. Next one is Tir na Nog, which again, I apologize if I mispronounced that. I'm sure I did. In the Irish myth cycles, the land of Tir na Nog is the realm of the other world, the place where the fairies live and heroes visited on quests. It was a place just outside the realm of man, off to the west, where there was no illness or death or time, but only happiness and beauty. You and I have been lucky enough to play this.
This
This
game
is
is
a really
fantastic.
cool drafting game. Yes. I am super impressed by the drafting because all you're doing is you're placing your token in between multiple cards.
Hmm.
And then, but that gives you a priority of who gets to pick first. And then you get to draft one of the cards that you're in between. Or if you're in the corner of it, you get choice of the four, but you get even further back. And then each of the cards lets you do things like maneuver stuff, move things around, draft different ones, trade out different parts. I was really kind of impressed with this. I want to get this back to the table, so we need to hit up Dom and tell him to bring it.
Oh yeah, no, this was a fantastic game. I really did enjoy it. the mess out of it. This is probably out of the ones I played, this is probably my third favorite of there. Like I said, I really liked Endangered for what it's doing. I like this one. My favorite hasn't come up yet, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Oh, wait, I think my favorite is next.
We're coming in next.
All right, the best one here that I think that they have produced is this game. And again, it is a co-design with Burnt Island Games. This is the Kinderspiel winner of 2025, Endeavor Deep Sea. This one is a sea exploration game where you're trying to go as deep as possible and trying to get the most points. I love the actual concept of this game. Where's the player boards? I'm trying to pull one up for people to see. But you have these little cubes here, and you're going to get extra ones during the time, but depending on where you're at on certain parts of the track, you're only going to get to place out a couple of these because most of your other workers are still tired. So you want to move up on that track, but I don't really want to be the other guy, so maybe I want to get better explorers to trigger their abilities, so I need to go up on a different track where I can hire more specialized characters. There is just tracks upon tracks. The exploration deep sea aspect of it is really cool because you're going deeper and deeper into the ocean. I really am enamored with this game. I thought Loot was going to win the Kinderspiel just because of how simplistic that game is with a lot of strategy, because I didn't think they wanted to go back-to-back years of heavy games. This one is a heavy game, but nowhere near as heavy as Daybreak, so I see why it won, and it deserved its win. This is probably the best of the three that were nominated last year. And I really did enjoy this one a lot. I love the basic one that you can find in the store is well produced, and if you get the Kickstarter exclusive stuff, it's through the roof. So, but base game, perfectly well done. I love the exploration on it, and I love the fact that every game you play of this is going to be different, and it's because of the simple fact that what they do in here exchanges out every time because you're drafting new different tiles. You have promos that are going to do stuff out there. So if I go one track one way one time I play, I can do something completely different and still have an opportunity to win the game. This is really well done.
I can't wait till you play it, or you show me this one.
Hey, you had an opportunity. You decided to be somewhere else.
I did not decide that, sir. Next one is Inferno, which I gotta say, this is my favorite cover out of all the games so far.
And this is the one I did not pull up because this is what they brought over to America.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm still gonna read it.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yep.
This is intriguing to me. I think this theme looks interesting. But in the Divine Comedy, the poet Dante Alighieri enters hell in search for his beloved Beatrice. Guided by Virgil, he descends through the 9 circles, witnessing how each sinner is eternally punished in a manner as horrifying as the sin they committed in life. It is a soul management game where each player must guide their sinners to their respective circles of hell. That is super interesting. It was
super interesting when it came up on Kickstarter too, but from my understanding, this is heavy.
Yeah, it looks incredibly heavy, but the pieces look great. The components are just absolutely incredible looking. I mean, GrandGamersGuild works a lot with other companies, but
yeah,
this is one that I would, for being as heavy as it looks, I would absolutely play it.
All right, next game on our list, the one that I did pull up here is Kokeshi. In Kokeshi, you are stepping into the role of master Japanese artisans. Perfecting the delicate craft of wooden Kokeshi dolls, your artistry comes alive as you strategically ascend your Kokeshi up to 5 tracks on your player mat, pushing your workshop to produce faster and more skillfully, earning happiness points. This isn't your typical engine builder. Kokeshi introduces the innovative twist of track building. On your turn, you activate one of your tracks, sending a Kokeshi meeple gliding forward to trigger actions. Then, move might spark a chain reaction, set another doll into motion, or unlock new pieces to expand your track. With every tile placed, your engine grows sleeker and more efficient and more rewarding, scoring happiness points as your tracks stretch and grow. This sounds super intriguing.
Yeah. Just those mechanisms alone.
Just sending something down to trigger different parts that could trigger other parts. I love that kind of thing. Combo upon combo upon combo.
Yep. I completely agree. I am pulling this up right now already. This already looks like something I would enjoy. All right, next one. S'mores galore. A game about combining marshmallows, chocolate, and graham crackers to make s'mores. Gather around the campfire, everyone. Time to make some tasty, gooey treats. Grab a stick, toast some marshmallows just right, and smoosh them between some graham crackers and some melty chocolate. But you better make them right, or you just end up with a hot mess. Try to get the most points by making s'mores. You first have to grab a graham cracker, then chocolate, then marshmallow to the grid on the table, and then pick them up in that order, or line them up in order to make the best s'mores. I mean, it's an interesting looking pattern building game. I don't know if it's any good, but I mean, I play it just because s'mores.
Yeah. Best way I've ever made s'mores when we used to go camping. I would get the graham cracker and get the piece of chocolate and put it off to the side, not on the fire, but next to the fire. This way the heat melts the chocolate a little bit while I'm roasting the marshmallow. Then put the marshmallow on, and then it's all super gooey.
Yeah.
It is delicious.
The better. I am a sucker. If it's a s'mores flavored anything, I'm in.
You and my wife are the same way. I'm not a huge marshmallow fan. I cannot stand the super sweetness of it.
I don't mind marshmallows. I just don't like. I don't like it when they're like, oh, it's s'mores because it's marshmallow flavor. It's like, no, it needs to be roasted marshmallow flavor. There needs to be some char.
You got to put some liquid smoke in there.
Got to put some liquid smoke. The best s'mores thing I've ever had. They haven't made it in years, but it was an ice cream sandwich that Great Value used to make for Walmart. They're not a sponsor, by the way. It was marshmallow flavored ice cream, graham cracker, like soft cookie outer shells, and they rolled it in chocolate chips. And so it had a good crunch to it also. That was the best s'mores.
One of my wife's favorite candies that they stopped making, which annoys the mess out of her, was Lindor s'mores. They had like the little chocolate truffle balls. They made it in s'more style. She adored those. They haven't made them in like 4 or 5 years now.
That sounds amazing. I'm not going to lie.
All right, the next game on the list that I pulled up is Pillars of Heracles. And that's right, Heracles. That's the proper Greek name of Hercules.
Yep.
In this one...
Get that messed up.
Huh?
Don't you mess that up.
Yeah, no. Join us on an epic journey through the world of archaic period Greece, where heroes are born, city-states clash in bitter rivalries, and the gods themselves shape the destiny of mortals. Prepare to immerse yourself in a strategic and immersive board game experience. Will you channel the wisdom of the mighty Olympian gods to lead your city-state to greatness, or rely on cunning tactics and military might to conquer your rivals? You'll embark on a quest to build and shape your own city-state, competing against formidable adversaries and navigating the intricacies I can't talk right now of ancient Greek societies. You'll explore design world, encounter iconic figures. The objective of the game is to become the most glorious city-state of them all. You can gain glory and fame by controlling cities, regions, building monuments, and fulfilling prophecies. The game ends when a player has collectively reached the end of the number of region tracks equal to the number of players, when a player controls 6 cities, or when the 3 prophecy cards have been removed from the game board. The player with the most glory wins. And it says here it's a deck bag or pool building game. It looks intriguing. The art style is pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of almost Cyclades style, like the old school Cyclades, not the newer version of it with the little pieces there. I don't know. It intrigues me. I would try it. Let's just put it that way. I would try it.
Yeah, I'd try it. Doesn't sound too bad. I like this. We don't tend to voice like what we would do with the game if we were presented with it.
Yeah.
But I like how we're doing this now. This is good. Thank you, GrandGamersGuild.
Yeah.
Did you pull up Gin Rummy?
Yes, I did pull that up.
Okay, cool. I'll read that. Very little information about this, but Gin Rummy, not Gin Rummy, but Gin.
As in Madge.
DJINN. Yep. Magical twist on classic Rummy. It's a djinn-themed or wizard-shaped. You are the most powerful of ancient magicians and shapeshifters, but for thousands of years you have waited, sealed inside a meager brass lantern, lost under the sands of time. A group of ardent archaeologists have now uncovered your magical prison and want to use your powers to grant them power and riches beyond your belief. Polishing your lantern, they have awakened not only your slumbering spirit, but your powerful cleverness and guile. So it's a gin rummy themed wizard game where you're granting spells. It's intriguing.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I hope they bring this out because this sounds very interesting.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, the next game I have heard about, and I've also have heard where it was referenced from too. It's called Babao and Kiki. It is bizarre sights and sounds collide and work together to solve scenarios. Babao Kiki is a cooperative communication game based on the psychological Babao and Kiki effect, which is finding that people tend to make the same associations between sounds and shapes irrespective of their language or culture. For example, people tend to associate the nonsense word Babao with rounded shapes and Kiki with spiky shapes. The cards in Babao and Kiki display a nonsense word on one side and a simple illustration on the other side. In the basic game, you're faced with a set of 3 of these words in one shape and must decide which word goes best with the shape. Points are earned by choosing the same target as your teammates. The game contains 6 scenarios and expands on this idea, which each containing 5 missions and gradually increasing in difficulty and complexity. Each scenario presents a different communication-based setting, such as spacefarers making contact with an alien race, spirit mediums looking into beyond, or toddlers playing together at a nursery. That effect that they're talking about always intrigued me growing up. I knew about it from my days in doing EMS and doing anything in the medical field. And the fact that people think like Babao is rounded shape. You're going to get like these like rounded flower, kind of looks like the little hand splat things you used to do back in the day. Mm-hmm. And the Kikis are like the spiky explosion things. And you're trying to think, this word sounds like that. And I think this is spiky. And you're trying to talk to that with people. It intrigues me. I love doing psychological stuff in games.
And I want to point out, this is Jonathan Schaefer, the designer of the Holiday Hijinks. So that could be really... I've seen what he does with escape room stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. All right, do you have Mega Mart Mogul?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. Having mastered this local supermarket economy with your friends, it's now time to take you to the next steps in your retail management careers. Now, you're vying to become the Mega Mart Mogul. Competition is fierce, and only one of you gets the job. And growth comes with growing pains. It comes growing pains. More employees, more threats, more bureaucracy will all need to be handled as you work to lead your team. So, it's a deck building game. It has a deck building twist to it, apparently. Over the flow of cards deck to the market and the supply. Money flows throughout your deck. When spent, it and into your bank before it returns to your deck. Okay. So, some cards stay out and have multiple uses. Concentrated flex in your deck. Okay, that's intriguing.
Yeah,
but
I would try it. It looks pretty cool.
Sure.
From what you could read, honestly.
Yeah, the original is called Passaria Supermarket Manager from 2018.
Yeah,
it's a Japanese card game. So okay.
Yeah, it might be one of those Japanese card games that they're bringing over to America. They just haven't released it yet.
Yep.
And then the last game that I have pulled up is Melding Snow, another one that doesn't have anything out here. It is shed your cards, build your snowman, and predict your scores to claim victory. Melding Snow is a trick-taking game centered around the fun of building snowmen. In this climbing-style game, players aim to roll up Melda cards over 4 rounds, striving to win tricks that earn points while quickly shedding their cards. When a player goes out, they can choose a bonus card to enhance their strategy, which may be applied immediately in the next round or at game end. At the end of each hand, players score their points by writing them in one of 4 spots on their snowman: the head, upper body, lower body, or the snow-covered ground. Points are tallied at the end of the game, and the players can earn extra points by predicting their scores in the sequential order, just like building a snowman, smallest on top to largest on the snow-covered ground. After 4 rounds, the players with the highest total points emerge victorious. I am kind of like you. I like trick-taking games, but I'm kind of cooling off with a lot of trick-taking games coming out.
Yeah.
This one intrigues me because it's giving you that, hey, you're trying to see how many tricks you're going to win. So you're trying to bet on how many tricks you're going to win, but it's more about trying to get the bonus points of how you're getting those scores. But it's also, trick-taking makes card shedding.
Yeah.
So
Which is cool.
Yeah. It looks cool. It sounds cool. I would totally try this one.
Cool. And I just want to point out, like, even though it's the last game we have pulled up, there's holiday hijinks. There's a few others called like Friday Fright.
Yeah.
The Journey to Tirnanog is actually another micro escape room as well. So they clearly know what they're doing in that. They even have a Master Detective collection where it's like just a box of all of those
Yeah.
that you keep in it. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, overall, pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds pretty neat. So, with that being said, those were all the games from Grand Gamer Guild. Which ones intrigue you the most that you need to try?
For me, let's see here. That I need to try. I mean, I don't want to try Deep Sea. Never Deep Sea. Out of the new ones, Kokeshi looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kokeshi. I already pulled that up. I was like, that looks intriguing. And there was another one, the Familia Hort. La
That was
Familia Hort.
that was on my list. I do want to try that one. That sounds very intriguing. Babao Kiki sounds pretty interesting to me. Actually,
Yep.
those last two, the Gin Rummy, or not the Mega Mart one, the
Yeah.
Gin Rummy and the Snowman one, Melting Snow or
Yep.
whatever. Those sound
Mhm.
really interesting to me as well.
Yeah, they do. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really kind of want to look at that Kokeshi one. Like that. It's
That one does look cool. I like the fact the way it cascading the engine building aspect of it.
And it's available on Board Game Arena. So, Daniel, I will send that your way soon.
Yeah, we've been playing the Game Makers recently, and
Yeah,
that's my favorite of the four we're playing so far.
sure. Yeah, we'll talk during the after show and figure out like our thoughts on that. So, if you watch this live, join us at. But let's do our send off. Thank you for joining us today. If you ever want to email us directly, you can. everydayboardgames2020 at gmail.com. Whether that's to enter in future contests, whether that's to give us ideas for future episodes, or just reach out and say hello. We also have an Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames, where at Instagram you can see a lot of the stuff that Daniel and I have been playing lately together, or some of the other random shenanigans that we tend to post.
And all video re-uploads and reviews are found under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. And we want to thank our friend Masmo here for joining us on that, and anybody else who is lurking in the chat as well. Join us live, make sure you follow us there, and get notified when we're live so you can join in during our conversations.
And all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So as always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.